Okay, hello and welcome. This is Enda here from bullwaves.org, and welcome to the weekend update. This is Friday morning, 20th of May, 2022, in case you didn't already know. Right, I'm just going to show you. This is bullwaves.org. Check out the website, and if you're interested in nightly Elliott wave analysis, that's what I do. So here is an example of what I do every night. So I usually enter with a little few links or maybe a few charts that I've seen throughout the day, and then I get into the markets. So I start with the hourly chart, and then you have the background of the 4-hour and the daily chart just to show you where you are. And then I usually give 5 or 10 lines on where I think tomorrow will go. But this is the layout of it. If you're interested, check out the website. And apart from that, let's get on with the show, I think. And I will get rid of you. And there we go. Right. Here we are. This is euro dollar. I'm going to start on the dollar FX as usual. And we'll move on from there. Okay, so the 4-hour count, as you all know, I have been looking for this low in a B wave. Well, it used to be a D wave because I was tracking a triangle, but now it's changed. Well, here I'll show you in the weekly chart. Here is what I'm tracking now. Probably a zigzag correction higher in a wave B. So we've come down in 3 waves. We've filled a channel. We've actually just held above the previous 2016 low, which is very interesting. We didn't break it. It basically a clean double bottom there. And what should be ahead of us is a rally up into a C wave, which may take us up above 120 again. So that should be nothing out of the ordinary, because all euro dollar has done basically over the last 6 or 8 years has just gone up and down, oscillated around 115 or so. So there's nothing wholly out of the ordinary about saying that we'll expect a rally back up in a C wave. So this week we've been tracking a possible 5-wave pattern higher, and maybe a reverse head and shoulders by mid next week or early next week. Maybe we might get a 3-wave decline in wave 2. That's what I'm looking at anyway. So a bullish higher low, 1-2 wave complete maybe about 104.50, and then I'd expect later on next week to see a 3rd wave rally. Forgive me now, I am a little bit under the weather this morning, so I'm going to keep this kind of short and sweet, if you don't mind. That's the expectation anyway for next week. We'll see whether it works out or not. Let's move on. This is cable. We've had a bounce in cable this week too. Was expecting a 4th wave rally. That has yet to develop. Well, it's yet to be kind of confirmed what sort of structure we'll get in this 4th wave rally. But suffice to say that we've come up enough this week to suspect that at least short-term low is now in place. So on the hourly count here, you can see I'm tracking wave A of A, so it'll probably be a reasonable size 4th wave. I don't really have a particular target for it. Possibly 128 or something like that when we're complete. But it's going to be, if this is wave 4 in well, I think it's wave 4 in green. So I should actually update that, depending on what degree it is actually. But anyway, if it's a 4th wave, it could oscillate around. It could, we could rally and then lose it all in a B wave decline. So I'm hesitant, to say the least, on calling any target on this, because I don't know what sort of structure we're going to trace out here. For the moment, anyway, I'm going to look at a possible 3-wave rally. Over the next week, or by the end of next week, we should have a 3-wave rally complete, and then we'll look at a 3-wave decline, and we'll see how it goes from there. It's kind of played by ear at this moment. But suffice to say, I think there's enough in the bag right now to at least suggest that we have a short-term low in place, and we should be rallying in a 4th wave. Okay, so dollar yen. And on the flip side, there is enough done in dollar yen to say that not conclusively that we have a top in place, but to say at least that that there is a potential for a bearish reversal here. So We have, if you notice on the 4-hour count, we've come down below 200 MA there, and we're actually holding, let's say, just at that line right now. So at the moment, that's kind of acting as some sort of a let's say support for the market right now. We'll see how it goes over the next few days, but today will be pretty crucial, I think, because we need to start building a second wave reversal here. So a corrective reversal is on the card here. We've got 5 waves down, I think. Looking for a corrective rally, possibly towards 129 again, 129.50 maybe. So we'll see how that 3 waves up goes over the next day or so. We should probably pop out of this downward channel here. So 3 waves up. Looking at the previous 4th wave, so 129.78 maybe for wave 2 to complete. Again, the idea is that we're building a bearish reversal here. So we've got this kind of head and shoulders, classic head and shoulder. Excuse me, I'm tripping over my tongue this morning. We've got a classic head and shoulders building here. And if that's the case, then it's probably sayonara for much of the rally that we've built over the last month or so. Okay, right, move on. This is the Dow on the 4-hour count. You can see on the 4-hour count, I've got a series of 1-2s. There's actually a set of three impulsive declines in a row. So this does indicate that we should continue to accelerate lower in a 3rd wave. And that's surely what I was expecting this week. But again, I'm always kind of, at least 1 foot hovering over the brake here so that I don't, drive off a cliff and not realize that I've gone the wrong way completely. We have, again, filled a downward channel. And if this is wave 3 of 3 of 3, then we should slice through that channel to the downside. To the downside pretty quickly over the next week or so. So I'm expecting a 3rd wave of a 3rd wave. So wave 3 in blue here of wave 3 in green. So I'll get a label on that if I can. Yeah, steal you from here and bring you over. Okay. Right, so wave 3 of 3. Now, I have an initial target on that. That's wave 3 in green here. We should be probably pushing towards that 29,000 level. I would say at a minimum at this point, because that's where we get the 162 extension, Fibonacci extension of wave 1. So we take the wave 1 length, we project it from the wave 2 high, and that gives us 29,180. If we go down to the hourly count, we can see that we have actually a lower target if we take the blue impulse wave and project that lower. So if we do that, we've got wave 1 and 2 here on the hourly count. The minimum target for wave 3 comes in at 29,890. That's where wave 3 in blue reaches equality with wave 1 in blue. But we have a lower target there at 28,100. So it's a pretty wide range between the green count and the blue count. We've got between 29,000 and 28,000 for a 3rd wave to bottom out, and that's a long way down from here. We're talking 2,500 to 3,500 points at this point. So you can understand why I am, let's say, tripping over my tongue while I say this, because I'm calling for quite a large decline here in a 3rd wave acceleration lower. If the current count is correct, and I can always be wrong on this, but if the current short-term count is correct, then we are correcting higher now in wave 2 of 3 of 3, and then we should be heading lower in wave 3 of 3 of 3 of 3. So I know it's a mouthful, and the targets may be a little bit out there, But that's the danger that I think is present right now. I think in the short term, if we hold below that wave 2 high at 32,750 there, then I think this wave count is, I'm fully on board with this count. Um, if we break through that again, I will have to rethink things. But for the moment, I think next week we should watch your six, as they say, because there could be something coming down the track here that will probably catch a lot of people by surprise. All right, and if I'm totally wrong on that, I'm sorry, but that's what I'm reading right now. Okay, let's move on. We got the gold 4-hour count. I have been looking for a second wave low and a rebound off that low to suggest that we're done here. The second wave came, incredibly close to breaking and invalidating this count. I had that invalidation level at 1780, and I think we bottomed this week at 1786. So $6 is a very tight margin to be operating on here. There is a viable alternate count here which calls the low at 1751 the actual invalidation level. So, there's a little bit of room to play if we do, break on the downside, but it's still too close for comfort there. Now, what's happened since then? We have had a bounce off that 1786 low. So far, it's 3 waves up. I'm looking for a 5-wave rally to suggest that that second wave is done and that we are actually starting and beginning a trek higher in a third wave. So at this point, tentatively, I will say that if the 1800 level holds from here on out, then I don't think we'll see that level for a long time. I'm going to qualify that here. We have 3 waves up in place. So this 3-wave pattern higher still can be read as a correction higher. So I'm going to, I will be reiterating that over the next few days. If the 1800 level breaks again, I think I will probably have to rethink my thesis here. But for the moment, we have a second wave low and we have a bounce off that low. So, look for 5 waves up. That will be the best indicator that we are actually done for this corrective phase in gold. Okay, I know I really didn't sell it there, did I? But when the margins are that tight, I've at least, maybe with age, I am becoming a little bit more cautious on being too bombastic about my outlooks here. But that's the outlook. Take it with a pinch of salt, and let's see if we follow through to the upside today. If we do follow through and we break out above that, let's say we break out above that upper channel line there, 1860 level, then I will be, let's say, a little bit happier to suggest that the bullish count is in play here. Okay, let's move on. Here's crude oil. I have been investigating, I'm going to say that, a few different versions of this wave 2 count here. You can see I'm still counting this initial decline off the top, that 127 or 128 top as wave 1 in green. For the moment, this is one viable version of wave 2. I know it's been long and drawn out, but we still are holding a lower high below that, blow off February high. We've got wave 1 down. We have a possible A, B, C, B, and then a C wave rally coming. Now, there's also the idea that we have wave A up and wave B down already done, and wave C maybe even complete as an ending diagonal. So that's some sort of strange failed C wave within wave 2. I don't favor that. I think at the moment this is the best alternate count that I've got for wave 2. Now, what I have been looking at on the short-term count is this. So I'll switch. I'm using the 4-hour count here because it's easiest to illustrate what I'm thinking. We had the initial decline in wave 1. We had a rally to a lower high that could be viewed as wave 2. And then we have wave 1, and then we have an A, B, and C. We've filled a trend channel to the upside. It is quite overlapping and corrective looking. And now we've got an impulsive looking decline to the downside again. This could be a wave 1 and 2 now complete, and we're heading into a third wave. If the stock market count is correct in the Dow, if we are going to accelerate lower in the Dow, I think the downdraft will carry crude oil down with it too anyway. So this would, a third wave decline, or a third of a third decline, would fit in that scenario. Both would drop like a stone together, basically. Well, let's get to the hourly count here, and you'll see this is the bearish outlook. Let's say we have wave 1 down complete. We have an A up, an ABC running flat B, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up in wave C. We pretty much fill the channel with the correction, with a 3-wave correction, and we spiked lower to the downside, and that's a pretty nice 5-wave pattern down. So the question is, are we going to see a corrective lower high in wave 2, and then a further decline, let's say in wave 3, maybe Monday? If that's the case, then this bearish count is in play and should be, let's say, crude oil should be treated with kid gloves because it might take your nose off pretty quickly. Okay, let's move on. This is the S&P count. I had been looking for a slightly higher retracement in wave 2 this week, but at the moment we don't have it. We have a possible candidate 3 waves up in wave 2 done at 41. What was it? 4100, let's say. And we had an impulsive spike to the downside off that high. So there is the looming possibility that we have a third of a third coming our way in the S&P also. Now, here is that ABC up in wave 2. I do have that alternate count for a higher wave 2, but I'm going to be honest, the decline of 4097 is it's impulsive, and I can't deny that in any way. So whether we complete a 1-2 pattern here and then accelerate lower on Monday, that will confirm, let's say, the most bearish outlook that I have here. Excuse me, my throat is going. I may not get through this. I might fall before I reach the end. Okay, so it's a complementary picture here on the S&P as with the Dow. So just keep that in mind. Now, silver, I have been looking for a 4th wave bounce, and we seem to have gotten a 4th wave bounce now. We haven't quite filled the channel down in wave C of wave 2. Let's clarify that. I'm looking for 5 waves down in wave C in blue here. This could be wave 4 of 5, and I'll be looking for one more decline in wave 5 of wave C. So that lower kind of target area, I'm going to suggest below 19,000, or sorry, below 19. That is a George Bushism, isn't it? We can call that the Freudian slip of the century there during the week. Will silver go to 19,000? Did one man unrighteously invade Iraq? I mean Ukraine. Okay, I'm joking with myself here. Right, here's the hourly count. Maybe it's 5 waves up in wave A of wave 4. That's what I'm looking at right now. There is also a possibility that this is already wave C. So we've got maybe an A, B, and C already, underway in wave 4. If that's the case, then we should see a sharp reversal off, let's say, the eventual high here around 22.20 maybe or something like that. That might even happen today. If we get a spike reversal today rather than a corrective one, that will suggest that a possible wave 5 of wave C has already begun. But the only confirmation of that will be a break of that 2044 low again. So I still think next week will probably reverse down into wave 5 of C, and we'll get that final low in for silver around $19. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to touch on Bitcoin. The 4-hour count in Bitcoin here. Looking at a possible fourth wave. I don't know what sort of pattern that's going to trace out right now. So I am looking for another downdraft in Bitcoin and a break of 20,000. I would say at a minimum. Okay, here's the hourly count. Wave. There's two ways of looking at this. At a higher degree or at a lower degree. I'm going with the lower degree at the moment. So we've got a possible 3-wave pattern higher building, and once we have that complete, then I would look for wave 5 of 3 down. That one should break 25,000 again, and it will depend then on how we correct off that low, which way I split with this this count here. So again, no matter which way you look at it, I think it's going to be a corrective rally in a fourth wave and then a further leg lower, either in wave 5 of 3 or in wave 5 of wave C. So keep that in mind. I'm going to look at the DAX for a second. Here is a 4-hour count in the DAX, which I think is reasonable. It's not confirmed or anything, but I think it's quite reasonable. We could have a wave C rally building here in wave 2. So let's say the structure of the decline of the mid-March highs is more corrective than impulsive. So I can't rule out that we're moving down into a third wave right now, but it does suggest that we're going to create a larger 3-wave pattern higher here. Maybe a break of 15,000 again before declining in wave 3. But I think that's one worth watching there. A C wave rally in to complete wave 2 over the next week or so. Here is we'll move on to the NASDAQ here. We were looking at a third wave decline for the longest time here. So we have fully embraced the idea of a third wave down in the tech stocks. We have not followed that in, let's say, the broader averages there. So the S&P anyway. The industrials have kind of held up slightly better because of, let's say, the slightly defensive nature of their build-up, but I don't think they're going to hold out in general anyway. This leg down in the NASDAQ should be reflected in the Dow and the S&P eventually. And it looks like we're not complete here yet either. I think we're probably only in heading lower in wave 5 of 3. So we're still only within that third wave scenario, or third of a third wave scenario. It looks like we have more to go here, and I'd be looking towards a break of maybe even bottoming out around 11,000 before correcting higher in wave 4 of 3. We'll see how that goes over the next few days. So far, so good on the count anyway. I would like to see that fourth wave high at 12,590. I would like to see that hold for the moment anyway. Okay, I think that is that. Like I said, check out the website, bullwaves.org. And as usual, even though I'm heralding the downfall of our markets and economies, I am also heralding the triumph of the King of Kings. So everybody who has switched off has already switched off now. So I'm going to speak to those who need to hear this and are still listening. There is only one outcome for our lives, and that is certain death. And you may not believe this, but I think you know in your heart that there is a creator. All of this that exists around you did not come from nowhere. I mean, that is the most unscientific view that you could possibly have, that all of creation appeared from nowhere for no reason. And then we ended up with, puppies and tables and chairs and, blue skies and fresh air and mountains and skiing and, bicycles and cars and engines and everything else. I'm sorry. That just does not wash with me. You're put here for a reason, and the Lord is calling out to you. We have been separated from God. This is a fallen world. We have separated ourselves from God. Things should have been and could have been so much better. But alas, we are where we are. And there is only one way back to God. You know this. God himself came in the form of a man and died the most horrific death in order to pay the debt that we owe towards God. He paid the debt himself. All we have to do is accept it. So it's like you're going to court and someone has paid your fine for you. All you have to do is accept that payment and you will be set free into eternity. Now, there's nothing that we can do. You cannot earn eternity. That's the worst part of religion. It seems to build this idea in your head that you yourself are of enough high merit to build or to deserve eternal glory. That is just not the case. You are, and I am not worthy on my own of eternity. Only through the shed blood of the Messiah am I worthy. And if you accept that shed blood as payment for your sin debt, and you accept the fact that you are a sinner and you need that, then just believe in Jesus and you're through. It's as simple as that. He made it quite simple. People would give out and say, it's so Jesus said he is the way and the true and the light and the life, and there's no way to heaven apart from him. How exclusive and discriminatory is that? What about all the other religions? Well, I'll tell you this. God gave us one way, and it's an easy way. And then we decide to go and corrupt the idea and make it harder and make it and build it upon our own shoulders that we go to heaven and make it let's say a prize for our own righteousness rather than the work that God himself did. How awful it would be for God to say, heaven is on your own shoulders. You have to live up to the standards that I am setting. But he didn't. He said, this is the one way. It's easy. Get down on your knees, admit, believe, and confess, and you're in heaven. He made it easy for us. We're the ones that make it hard. So I'll leave you with that. And everybody who's still listening, I pray God's blessing over you. I hope you have a good weekend. And if I'm still here next week, I'll do another video. And for everybody else, I'll see you on the website tonight. And if you are still interested, I know I probably ruined my business by doing this. If I was a shrewd business person, I would not be selling the idea of eternity. I would just be selling myself, but I'm not. I'm not a true, cutthroat business person. So there you go. God bless. See you on the other side. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.